Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is M.RAMBABU, lecturer in English, GOVT College, SATHUPALLY. Today's topic is ecosystems and environmental pollution. This topic is meant for semester 4 students of BA, BCom and BSc studying under the jurisdiction of Kakatiya University. Now let's learn what the ecosystem is. Ecosystem is a place where animals, plants, and non-living material exist together. If you look at the pic, you can easily understand what the ecosystem is. Animals, birds, other creatures, plants, water, and non-living things, they all together exist there. That is called ecosystem. Now we are all part of ecosystem. We live along with the animals, birds, water bodies, and everything. So we are all part of ecosystem now. But what's happening around the world today? Man is destructing the ecosystem for his selfishness. He is spoiling all the natural resources. He is exploiting all the natural resources. He is cutting down the forests, in the name of development, and he is polluting water in the name of industrialization. He is polluting air, polluting even light. So this is all happening due to the selfishness of human being. So it is our foremost duty to protect our ecosystem so that we can lead a healthy life. Look at the pictures here. Factories. Factories are releasing smoke into the atmosphere. So factories are necessary for the development of the country. At the same time, what are they doing? They are causing air pollution. So that must be curbed. That air pollution must be curbed. Otherwise, the air, all the air gets polluted, and that leads to different kinds of health complications. Global warming. What's called global warming? Global warming is the slow increase in the average temperature of Earth's atmosphere because an increased amount of heat striking the Earth from the sun is being trapped in the atmosphere. So students, all of you know the consequence of global warming nowadays. Due to global warming, we are facing different kinds of complications. We are not getting rains timely, and sometimes we are witnessing cyclones, floods, all these things. Sometimes we are witnessing famines, drought conditions. So these are all due to global warming. What are the impacts of global warming? The first impact is climate change. Due to global warming, the climate changes. The ecological balance is disturbed. Due to intense heat in the atmosphere, oceans heat up and more water evaporates. It results into high energy intensive storms like hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones. Storms, we have witnessed so many storms even this year. Yas, Taukte, these are the names of storms we have witnessed recently. So what is the result of cyclones and storms? They create havoc. They disturb human life, and they destruct the properties, crops, and human life, everything. So here, this is all happening due to global warming. The climate is the climate has changed. The normal the normal pattern of climate has completely disturbed. Because of that, we are getting all these things. And the second point is the second impact of global warming is warmer atmosphere melts glaciers, mountain snow peaks, the polar ice cap, and the great ice shield of Antarctica, thereby raising sea levels. What happens? The glaciers in the oceans melt, the snow in the oceans melt, and the snow on the mountain peaks melt. As a result of that, the sea level rises, causing storms, hurricanes, and sudden changes in the atmosphere. And the third impact of global warming is changes in temperature, change the great pattern of wind that brings the monsoons in Asia and rain and snow around the world, making drought and unpredictable weather conditions. We experience very heat waves. We experience heat waves, and we experience sometimes heavy rains, and sometimes drought in some parts of the world, and heavy rains and floods in some part of the world. So the ecology is imbalanced, totally imbalanced because of global warming. So here it's high time to curb global warming by following certain measures that are going to be discussed. So what are the causes of global warming? Global warming is an aspect of climate change referring to the long-term rise of the planet's temperatures. It is caused by increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, mainly from human activities such as burning fossil fuels like coal, gas, petrol, diesel, etc. What are called greenhouse gases? Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, methane, water vapor. These are called greenhouse gases. So they contribute global warming mostly. And not only that, here increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, mainly from human activities. Here, human beings are the main contributors for the global warming. Man-made. This problem is man-made, not natural. So man is contributing most of the part of global warming. So by burning fossil fuels. What are called fossil fuels? Like petrol, diesel, okay, and coal, gas. These are called fossil fuels. Here we use crores of vehicles for the purpose of our activities, but they release smoke into the atmosphere. Through smoke, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, all these gases are released into the atmosphere, and that contribute the major part of global warming nowadays. See how the smoke is emitted into the atmosphere. Vehicles release smoke in form of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide. Where does it go? It goes into the atmosphere. That causes greenhouse gases. That causes global warming. In the same way, through chimneys, the power generation what units, power generating units also release carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide in form of smoke into the atmosphere. So if you take thermal power stations, like if you go to Palwansa, you can witness this kind of chimneys there, tall chimneys. They continuously release the smoke in large scale into the atmosphere. It is nothing but pollution. It is causing air pollution. Here, the smoke contains carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide. These are all poisonous gases. So they cause global warming. So another cause of global warming is deforestation. Naturally, trees play important role in regulating the climate. Because they absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere, and they sometimes take carbon dioxide for preparing their food. And here they maintain ecological balance. Trees play crucial role in maintaining ecological balance, but humans clear vast areas of vegetation. They cut down forests, they cut down trees for their selfishness, in the name of urbanization, in the name of development. So they clear green vegetation around the world for farming or urban infrastructure development. So here, deforestation means cutting down the forests. The forest cover, we are unable to reach the percentage of forest cover in the world. Actually, there must be at least 33% of the forest cover on this planet Earth, but it's not there. Here, different countries are taking measures to increase their forest cover by taking up a long plantation drives in large scale. Another cause of global warming is agriculture and farming. Agriculture and farming also contribute some part of global warming. Animals, livestock like sheep, cattle, they produce methane. That is nothing but a greenhouse gas. So here, animals also release methane into the atmosphere. And the indiscriminate use of chemical fertilizers. Farmers use chemical fertilizers in large scale. So here, chemical fertilizers contaminate water, they contaminate earth. The chemical fertilizers, they are soaked by earth, and thus the water gets contaminated, and thus thus the environment is polluted. So here, the indiscriminate use of chemical fertilizers also cause global warming, and also stubble burning. What is called stubble here? The farm waste. So here, across the world, the farmers burn the farm waste after completion of their harvesting. So smoke naturally is released into the atmosphere. That causes global warming. So around Delhi, some states like Haryana, Punjab, Chandigarh, okay, those states face acute problem of this stubble burning. The farmers there naturally grow wheat crops. So after completion of their harvesting, they burn the stubble. So due to that stubble burning, smoke is released into the atmosphere in massive extent. So the Delhi, the capital of India, is choking with the smoke. So as a result of that, in the recently enacted Farm Acts, it was mentioned, and the farmers are going to be penalized according to the acts. The farmers are going to be penalized up to 1 lakh rupees if they are detected, if they are found burning their stubble. So stubble burning is banned there. It should not be done. It should not be burnt anyway. If you look at the pie diagram here, you can understand how the global warming takes place. Fluorine gases. Fluorine. Here we use air conditioners and refrigerators at our home. So as coolant, freon, CCl2F2, chlorofluorocarbons. One of the that is chlorofluorocarbon. that is used as coolant in refrigerators and air conditioners. So here, that is the most harmful gas. When it is released into the atmosphere, it depletes ozone layer overhead. It depletes ozone layer. Whenever the ozone layer is depleted, we get the ultraviolet rays directly on the earth. That ultraviolet rays are very harmful to human beings, that cause global warming. Not only that, cause different kinds of health complications, skin cancer, and such that. So fluorine gases contribute 2% of the global warming, and nitrous oxide 6%, methane 16%, carbon dioxide, forestry and other land use 11%, and carbon dioxide, fossil fuels and industrial process 65%. It means burning fossil fuels and some industrial wastage, releasing industrial effluent into the atmosphere and releasing water smoke into the atmosphere. That is a major contributor of global warming. So, students, what must be done to curb the global warming? So here we have to take certain measures to curb it, to control global warming. Otherwise, we have to face severe problems in the future. So here, planting a trees is one of the measures to curb climate change or global warming. Afforestation means planting trees. Afforestation means planting trees. It plays important role in curbing global warming. So trees maintain ecological balance. All of you know that. They take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere. That is life-giving gas to us. So oxygen is very important for us. You know how important oxygen has become nowadays. Due to shortage of oxygen, thousands of people are dying every day as COVID patients. So here, to get sufficient oxygen into the atmosphere, we have to plant more and more trees. And the second measure that should be taken is a shift to renewable energy sources. All of you know there are renewable and non-renewable energy sources. What are renewable energy sources? Solar energy, wind energy, and biomass energy, hydropower energy. These are called renewable energies. It means they are sustainable. They won't get lost. They won't get lost. They are sustainable. But if you look at the non-renewable energy sources, fossil fuels using coal, nuclear energy, these are called non-renewable. When they get lost, we cannot replace them. So here we have to shift to renewable energy sources immediately. So instead of using thermal power energy, we must shift over to solar energy and wind energy, like that, so that we can curb climate change. And another important measure to curb climate change is shift to e-vehicles. All of you know what e-vehicles are. Electric vehicles. Nowadays, it has become it has become buzzword among the vehicle users. Here, some companies have already released e-vehicles into the market. So here, instead of using petrol, diesel, the vehicles run on electricity. Battery is given there, they run on battery. So they don't release any kind of smoke into the atmosphere. Okay, pollution free. So they are pollution free. They won't cause any kind of pollution. So here, the government should take immediate steps to support e-vehicles instead of using diesel and petrol run cars and other vehicles. And this is also one of the major causes of global warming, using chemical fertilizers and pesticides. They are very harmful to weather. Chemical fertilizers soak into the earth, and that is mixed up with water. And when water is taken, contaminated water, we get different kinds of health complications. And not only that, when we grow crops, the crops are also damaged. We get adulterated foods. So using chemical fertilizers, pesticides is health hazards. They are health hazards. So it's high time to shift over to biofertilizers, like using compost and that kind of things. Compost is a biofertilizer. And students, another measure to curb climate change is conservation of water. We use water indiscriminately because we find water abundantly and we waste it unnecessarily. It means we don't know water management system. We don't know how to manage water, how to save water. So here we must be aware of all these things in our life so that we can save water. Students, all of you know, water is an elixir of life. It means very important part of our life. Without water, no living being can live. There is no living being at all without water. Even animals, plants, they all depend on water, like us. So we must use water in a judicious way so that it is not wasted. So to save water, we must dig water harvesting pits, rainwater harvesting pits. All of you know what the rainwater harvesting pit is. It should be made mandatory at every household to conserve water. Conserving water should be made part of our life. So just like money, we try to save money, but we never try to save water. That's a pitiable thing here. So here, water is more important than money. We can earn money, but sometimes we cannot get water. Understood? So here, the conservation of water is very important thing in our life. So students, this is all about the factors that contribute to global warming and how to curb the global warming. Very, we have discussed very important and main points here in this topic, and keep those things in mind, and try to control global warming as a knowledgeable student. So, in this connection, I would like to show you one video also, and I ask you all to watch it without fail.
Third planet from the Sun, the only planet having a vast diversity of life forms. While other planets of our solar system are either scorching hot or bitterly cold, Earth has a relatively stable temperature. What is that which is making Earth different? What exactly is making Earth such a favorable place to live on? It is the Earth's atmosphere, which is a thin blanket of air surrounding the Earth from all sides. This air is a mixture of many different gases. Just like an umbrella which protects us from sun and rain, this thin layer of air protects Earth from the harmful radiation from the sun. But this stable temperature is rising every passing year. Oceans are getting warmer, significant shifts in the climate is seen, glaciers are melting. Why is all this happening? What should be done to stop all this? We'll find the answer to all these questions through this session. Earth is constantly bombarded with enormous amount of radiation from the sun, which we receive in the form of light and heat energy. This radiation, in the form of visible, ultraviolet, and infrared, have to first pass the Earth's atmosphere before reaching the surface. The ozone layer, which is present in the Earth's atmosphere, blocks some amount of harmful ultraviolet rays from reaching the surface. Of the remaining rays reaching the surface, part of it is absorbed by the Earth, and some, especially the infrared rays, are reflected back into the space. But some gases in the atmosphere traps this heat radiation and re-emits it to the surface, which leads to heating up of the environment. This exchange of incoming and outgoing radiation that warms the Earth is referred as the greenhouse effect. And the gases involved in this are called greenhouse gases, which mainly include carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, chlorofluorocarbons, etc. Friends, but are you not wondering why it is called greenhouse effect? Is it something to do with the greenhouse? If you said yes, you're thinking the right way. A greenhouse is a glass building in which plants that require protection from cold weather are kept. The glass cover helps to trap all the heat energy and keeps the inside environment warm. Now consider our planet Earth. The atmosphere acts as the glass and traps the heat. The greenhouse effect is essential in order to keep our planet warm. In the absence of this effect, the temperature of the Earth's surface would have been minus 20 to minus 40 degrees Celsius. But too much of something is bad, right? in the greenhouse receives excess heat, it would burn. And if we consider planet Earth, over the last 2 centuries, human activities have changed the Earth's atmosphere in a dramatic way. The amount of greenhouse gases have increased and are still increasing. They trap too much heat, and this excess of greenhouse effect results in global warming, which is an increase in the Earth's average temperature. Consequences of global warming are enormous. Its effects are not limited to one country, but it will affect the entire planet. Knowing the fact that global warming exists and human-made carbon dioxide emissions have caused it, many nations of the world have come together to sign an international treaty, the Kyoto Protocol. The major objectives of this protocol are commitments to reduce greenhouse gases by about 5% below their 1990 levels. But what can be done by us? How can we contribute in reducing global warming and also its consequences? Well, planting more number of trees, reducing waste generation, reducing the use of products which generate greenhouse gases, using energy efficient appliances, increasing the fuel efficiency of vehicles, using more renewable energy, or say switch into